how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm in the studio here with my dude. Am I saying your name right?
My dude?
My dude, yeah.
It's
Murahd. I'm so fucking tired.
My dude Shawki.
My dude Murahd.
That was my nickname in college.
Really?
No. No, it wasn't.
Murahd. I literally said it all morning and then I just brain farted. That's
okay, dude.
super fun. I'm going to keep that in so that I can be embarrassed in front of everyone, even though I have edit power. Like, I could restart this.
You do wield all the power, and you are a merciful podcast host. Mashallah.
Anyway, okay, well, welcome to the Comedy Confession
Thank you.
Booth.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Jamie Lerner, and...
Is Butts just the Instagram handle, or are you like German or something?
No, that's just an Instagram handle.
I'm kind of bummed.
I'm so sorry. I literally was just like, what's funny, Butts? And then people think it's my name.
You should try stand-up comedy.
Try stand-up comedy. You should try it. Sounds like you have a really good sense of humor.
Yeah.
You like butts. I do make a lot of butt jokes.
Well, that's fantastic.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm surprised I'm being hosted by an American.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
Because I'm not sure if you're aware, we're in Spain.
Oh, no, I had no idea. Most of my friends here are not from here. So, yes, we're in Spain. How long have you been here?
Since the 10th, I believe.
Okay, so
yeah,
some
long
time.
trip. Yeah,
like a week or so.
Some of my folks wanted to make a trip out here, and I was like, "Oh, cool, free lodging for gigs."
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, because lots of gigs, right? You did Midweek Crisis.
Yeah, I did Basement.
Nice.
I'm doing I think a 10 p.m. tonight. Or
Yeah,
something.
Friday Night Live.
And then I've got like 2 tomorrow, and then Basement again on Sunday.
Sweet.
Yeah,
those are fun. Well, so tomorrow, the reason that we come in the studio is tomorrow, which is Saturday, which is today for the listeners. You're gonna
8
be
p.m.
headlining the Spotlight.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
That's gonna be really fun.
I was really happy checking out the venue on Wednesday. The best venues are. This is gonna sound damning. It's like the biggest.
No, say it.
It's like borderline fire hazard.
Yeah.
Like one-way entrance into a basement, low ceiling.
Of course.
Pack them in tight. Amazing.
Don't worry. The amount of jokes we've made about if there is a fire, we are all dying, but at least we're dying laughing.
I will say I got this spot because I hit you guys up pretty last second.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, the headliner canceled," and I was like, "Perfect."
Nice.
And then I realized tomorrow's the first day Spain plays in the Euros.
Oh, I didn't know that, honestly.
And it's at 6 p.m. So please come to the show. Please.
Please come.
Yeah, it's a 90-minute game. You know, that gives you a half hour to run over here.
Barcelona is a small city. You can make it. I think people will, honestly, like, that's kind of the perfect timing. It's like, watch the game, already kind of drunk, come to a comedy show.
Also, I find in general that, like, a lot of people that come to comedy shows aren't necessarily sports buffs.
Yeah,
you know?
no. Except for, there's a guy, Ewan, here. Do you know who Ewan is? He's a total weirdo, and he he doesn't listen. But even if he did, he knows it. He loves... Actually, his funny thing is, so he's like a British guy, and he does...
Oh, you hate to see it.
And he does like alternative comedy.
And like bad comedy. No,
yeah,
I'm kidding. I don't know this
guy. No, he's always so funny, but he does these weird bits where it's like, one of my favorite things he's done was like a burrito. Like, he was like, pick which one is the burrito, and he like blindfolds an audience member and then has them like select between like a sandwich, a weird object, and then he wraps himself up in like a blanket, and so they like touch him and they're like, well, he's not a burrito, and he's like, hi, and then he like has a sandwich like that he's holding. It's like so weird. Anyway, so but he's like, the thing about me is that I'm just a normal bloke. I just like watching sports and talking with my friends. It's not his accent at all, but you know, I'm just a normal bloke. And like, you're totally, he looks like a Tim Burton character. Anyway, so you're in Spain for like a week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Managed to get robbed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
I was warned about wearing a chain in public and being like, and people were like, "Oh, it's El Born, right?"
Yeah, Born
like,
is.
"Oh, that's like a sketchy part of town."
Well, there's Raval. and Gothico and Bourne, and those are all like the old town, and they all are sketchy for different reasons.
Well, it's funny though, because like I'm from San Francisco, so like San Francisco's pretty Mad Max Fury Road right now. So when people say like it's a rough neighborhood and I look around and it's just gorgeous, I'm like, okay, sure, it's rough. Like in my head, like, oh, you're so sheltered. And then I just tuck in my chain, but there's like 3 inches of metal on the back of my neck.
Like it's a big chain.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I wasn't huge, but like I was like on the phone with a friend, so I'm like distracted, primary target material. And I just hear footsteps coming up from behind me really fast, and they grab it. And the thing is like it was pretty well made, so like it didn't come off on the full yank. And they got a bit of my shirt, so they're just like fucking pulling on it.
They're really going.
Yeah. And then
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine, but like there was a part where I was like being yanked, and I realized what was happening, and like I don't know if it's just one person. I don't know if they have friends.
Yeah, like it's behind you.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got a weapon. I'm not fucking dying for this chain, you know? And I was just saying, okay, because in my head, it's like, bro, you win. Chain is yours. I'll take it off. Yeah. It'll have more resale value if you don't just break it off my neck. But the joke is on him because it's just gold plated. That's like 5 tapas.
Nice.
Like really like a waste of adrenaline.
Yeah, not worth it.
I had a bag across my chest with like, you know, one of those like TikTok microphones, like a fancy pen, because I've been like a station. So much more worth taking, and he's just yanking on this gold-plated silver.
Yeah, it's probably worth like, I don't know.
Like literally like $60.
Yeah.
That's like all
most.
you're getting.
Yeah.
It's
it's honestly like crazy the lengths they go through here. I would agree with you, like coming from, because I come from New York and people are like, oh, it's sketchy. Like I used to live in Reval, which is like the sketchiest neighborhood, but I think people are just racist because there's a lot of like brown people that live there.
I was gonna say people were like that. I'm surprised. You look Moroccan.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised too.
It was from behind. I don't know. And I was on the phone.
They probably heard you speaking like perfect English, and that was the giveaway. Because I think if you were just walking, they would.
Well, I was walking, and then 3 dudes came up to me, and they were like, they put their hand on my shoulder, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, where are you from?" And I'm like holding my bag, and I like gently I was like, "Some space, please." He's like walking with a cane, like a cartoon villain, and his friends are on bikes, just like, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stand right here, and you guys can keep walking. So, like later, I'm feeling like, oh, I'm street savvy. I just stopped myself. Ouch! Just take the chain, please. No. And it was torn. Like they tore my shirt, which immediately made me look more European.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're immediately just
like I was
came
embarrassed.
From the beach.
I was embarrassed, but I'm like, oh, my shoulders look kind of good.
Ladies, come on.
But what was surprising to me is like, I don't know. I think you'd agree, like, if you're in New York or something and somebody does that to you, people might not necessarily intervene because, like, they don't know if the dude is armed. They don't want to get...
Exactly.
But after it's done, they'll come up to you and be like, hey, buddy, you okay? Or something like that. I was with my, like, Indian friend who said in Bombay people would beat the robber's ass for that. My folks are from Cairo, same story.
Shit.
People would like run to help you.
Yeah.
And here, everybody was just looking at me like it was my fault.
They're probably tourists here. Like
no,
in
it was like shopkeepers and stuff.
Oh my
They're
God,
just like looking at me, and I'm like, and some guy comes up to me and he's like, "Where?" It's weird. What I'm gonna describe sounds like BDSM wear, but it's but it's not. Like it was like a weird fashion choice. Like imagine an outfit that's like a backpack. And he has like no shirt, and there are like straps over, but his like nipples are just sticking out. And he comes up to me, and I don't know if he's being friendly or not. I can't really tell. He's not being like warm, and he says something to me in Spanish.
Probably German.
No, he says something to me in Spanish, and I'm like, I don't, and I'm just like holding my torn shirt.
Oh my God.
I'm like a minute removed from getting robbed, and I was like, I don't speak Spanish, and then he looks at me and just goes, psst. And walks away, and I'm like, I just got robbed. What do you want me to fucking say? Like,
oh my God. What is happening? I'm so sorry that this is your Barcelona experience.
It's the most beautiful city I've ever been in. Mm-hmm. The food is fucking incredible. Everybody is insanely attractive. Especially coming here from London. Some serious contrast. I will say, just Not trying to sound like an ugly American, not trying to sound like an ugly tourist. Not the warmest people that I've met. I understand like feeling resentful if your city is like overrun by tourists.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I'm sorry I got robbed. Like, I'm so fucking sorry. And I immediately like, the cab driver was super nice because like he was like up the street and I called him and he saw it and he was like very like nice and sympathetic. And I was on my way to meet with some friends for drinks, and I go back to my hotel because I'm just like, I need a change. And, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be too nervous to go out again. And then I was like, I can't let the terrorists win.
No.
And then I went out and I got hammered, and that was pretty cool.
That's great. Yeah. I'm glad you went out and got hammered.
Yeah.
That's the best way to deal with it.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm not much of a drinker. I'm a pothead.
Same.
Yeah, but I was like, you know what? Tonight is an occasion to drink some poison tonight.
Yeah. Let it loose.
Finally, I've heard so much about the sangria here.
And did you enjoy it?
I did. It somehow, we went to a really nice place, and somehow the combination of red wine and lemon and whatever the fuck else they put in there made it just taste almost exactly like Coca-Cola with like less sugar.
It's they put in a lot of like alcohol like besides wine. Okay. Like I think they put in. So I went to like a paella cooking class with my mom, and they also taught us how to make sangria. I used to work in a bar, so I know how to make sangria, but the way they do it here is like different. So they do the fruit and the wine, and then this place they put in like basically an entire bottle of vodka, and then like Fanta lemonade.
I have a sense memory trauma with vodka because the first couple times I got drunk, it was in high school, and I drank too much and I like puked.
Classic.
So now if I smell vodka, my brain just starts flashing like poison. Same with shrooms. Because
really?
I love shrooms.
Shrooms are the best.
I love shrooms, but I used to just fucking... First off, in college, we would go to a shroom dealer. None of us knew what we were doing, and the standard increment you buy it in is like an eighth. So we thought an eighth was one dose.
Right.
So we were all just eating full eighths each time, which... If you want to hang out with God, that's a pretty fucking good dose. Yeah. But I think, because like...
It's a lot.
I have a sensitive stomach. My body was just like, why do you keep eating food poisoning?
Yeah.
Why do you keep eating food? So now if I like even get like, if you had a bag of it and I looked at it, I would start like gagging.
Really?
But that's the nice thing about being from the Bay Area is shrooms aren't like legal to sell and stuff, but it's decriminalized.
Nice.
And it's legal if you're if it's part of your like religion. So I joined a church. And when you join the church, you have to sign this contract that says you promise you're not a cop. And another one that's like, you promise you're not going to share your sacrament with anybody. That's what they call it, your sacrament. They had services on Sunday. Oh my God,
I would convert just for mushrooms.
Yeah. They had services every Sunday at 420. But also...
At 420?
Yeah, what was nice about it, the nice little shroom privilege was that they had it like professionally packaged with like chocolates and gummies and stuff like that. So I didn't have to like eat raw mushroom. Because I think those days are...
gross.
Those days are behind. It's weird. Yeah. It's like, it's not even that the taste is so foul. The texture is awful.
Yeah.
It tastes like... Oh, fuck. It tastes like bad breath.
Ugh.
And it's impossible to chew. Like, it doesn't break apart. You know what I mean? It just flattens in your mold. Ugh.
That's so gross. I've only done it, like, I've only had proper shrooms because I've had, like, psilocybin, like, candy and stuff.
Yeah, that's the way to go, though.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
But the first time I had, like, proper shrooms, and they were the truffle kind, like the underground ones.
I've never had those. Those are, like, the Dutch kind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was in Amsterdam. So I was, like... My friend was dying of sun poisoning because she came here first.
I thought you meant literally.
I was like,
how ivory is this woman?
Oh, she's got full Irish heritage. Like, she's an O'Keefe. And so we went to the beach here, and I tan, and I live here. So, like, I don't really put on much sunscreen. I'm kind of like, whatever. We drank 2 bottles of kava, and the next week.
That's like sleepy time tea, essentially, right? Isn't that what kava is?
Kava's Prosecco.
It's just alcohol?
Yeah.
Well, we have like kava bars in the Bay, but it's not alcohol, and it's supposed to be this like soothing drink.
Oh, that's like a different. That's KAVA.
Okay,
Here
okay,
it's
okay.
CAVA.
Okay.
So you know how like Prosecco is from Prosecco, Italy.
Yeah.
And then like Champagne is from Champagne, France.
Yeah.
And then
Champagne.
Champagne.
Yeah.
And then Cava is the Spanish one, but it's like mostly Catalunya.
Okay.
And it's kind of a mid. It's like more expensive than Prosecco, cheaper than Champagne, and better than both, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
So drink some Cava. But yeah, we had 2 bottles, like 2 wine bottles of Cava. And so we were like wasted in the sun. I was fine. She was completely destroyed.
What's the difference between sunburn and sun poisoning?
Sun poisoning is not just a sunburn. It's like you also get really sick. And like your skin
crazy.
peels. It's like toxic.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
So then we had to travel to Amsterdam, and she was shitting and throwing up.
Nice.
And then she was like kind of okay the next day. And so she was like, I'm not going to drink while we're here. So if you want to get drunk, I'll be your drunk babysitter. And I was like, well, I can get drunk anywhere. I'm going to do mushrooms. Do you want to be my mushroom babysitter? And she was like, sure. And it was honestly great.
I feel like if I was on shrooms and somebody had sun poisoning near me, my empathy would be too high, and it would feel like I would have sun poisoning. Be like looking at like a California raisin.
Oh my God. You would just be like, am I dying right now? Yeah. It was an experience. We're going back to Amsterdam again soon. So we'll see. But
I've never been.
It's fun. You should go.
I've heard the comedy scene's good.
I've heard that too. I haven't done comedy out there yet, but I might. Yeah, there's some nice people out there though. You should definitely.
I'm doing Paris at the end of the month, and I'm dreading it.
Why?
So, most of my folks still live in Cairo.
Okay.
And every other summer we would go visit them, and now that there's like this big fucking fancy airport in Doha, that's like we usually connect through Qatar now. But,
right.
We used to always connect through Paris, and sometimes we would spend a couple days there.
Okay.
Remember how I said maybe people in Barcelona aren't the warmest?
Oh my God.
If you're like vaguely Muslim looking in Paris, it's like not the best.
I think if you're
especially also like just Americans.
Yeah, like you're Muslim looking and have an American accent. Like that's just the worst
whammy.
combination.
Yeah, double whammy.
Yeah. I imagine that. Yeah, Paris. I hate Paris.
Really?
Personally, yeah.
I heard it's like kind of a mess right now.
Yeah, I don't know about even comedy. Just like I just kind of hate it. Like I used to love it, but
the people or the city itself.
The people for sure,
yeah.
And then the city itself is just like when you've gone enough and you've seen all the art. Like obviously, if I could just go to the Louvre and just like look at all the art the entire time and not have to interact with French people.
People tell me
tourists.
like, oh, go to like Lyon or Nice or Lille, and it's like more friendly.
People say that.
You haven't been?
No, I've met some nice French people. I've been to Nice actually. Nice was really fun, but I only met like other tourists there. But Paris, I just had a bad experience when I was in college and like had like a guy like try and kiss me on the street when I was lost.
I've heard that the like catcalling and shit is crazy.
Yeah, it's like really bad there.
Yeah.
Where like here it's not that bad.
My sister was like, she specifically hates Parisian Algerians because they
That's
would
like a
would
very
be like
specific subset.
They would be like saying wild shit to her on the train and stuff.
No, they do that. They're like really, it's very aggressive there. And it's like, I was wearing like a dress and it was like March. So maybe, I was being optimistic with the weather. And I was like, I can't walk down the street. Like, it was like, and I'm not even like.
I thought you meant like the weather was bad.
Oh, no. I just mean the people. Like,
okay.
I mean, the weather was bad.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need to be in a dress. Like, I didn't
you
need
were,
to be showing my knees.
You were serving too hard.
I was serving too hard. Yeah, that's exact. I was
Well, it kind of sounds like a you.
It was my fault because of what I was wearing. Obviously, is the problem.
I'm glad you understand.
Of course, I get it. I know that women are the problem. I got in a fight recently. Sorry, this is too much about me, but I got in on Facebook. I got in a Facebook argument and like a.
Oh man, I was hoping it was like a fight.
Oh my god, a real fight would have been cool. No, it was like a girls in Tinder Facebook group, and one girl was just like slut shaming, and I was like,
girls in Tinder Facebook group?
Yeah, it like girls in Barcelona on Tinder. So like
what's
Oh yeah,
for?
you're a boy. You don't know about this stuff.
Is it like, oh, this guy's a creep?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like girls watching each other's backs, and then this one girl's out here slut shaming, and I was like, get out of this group.
Oh, dude,
I got so mad.
I so selfishly just made it about me, but
no, please, this is supposed to be about you.
When I match with somebody, like, so often I just need to say something that gets a response so the real conversation can begin.
Right.
So I have like 3 lines I use.
Okay, what are your lines?
One, you guys feel free to use this, finally some good news.
Nice.
I think that's a good one.
That's good. That's good.
One is like, thanks for the dopamine. I think that's a good one.
Cute.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, because I am now aware of these groups, I'm like, oh, fuck. It's like, oh, this guy uses the same line on everybody or something.
Yeah. Oh, no. You are all good. That's funny, though. That's like, that guy, yeah. No. I don't think people really do that. Like, they're not like, is he using the same line on every... Like, you have to have lines.
My friend will write, IDK, this feels like fate or feels like destiny or something. That's like a little cheesy.
Yeah, that's very cheesy. I was about to say something very offensive, and then I was like,
it's your podcast.
I was just about to say that was gay, but like in like a ironic way.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I feel like calling things gay is kind of coming back.
Yeah, it's making a comeback. Also,
okay.
I was on the phone with my friend Jordan Thulis, who's like a very funny comic, when I got robbed, right? And I'm on the phone with him, and we're talking about like some writing process stuff.
Cool.
And I have a screenshot of like what the last thing he heard was.
Nice.
And in quotes, it's like, this is pretty gay, but do you ever journal? Ow, fuck, just take it. Ow, ow. And then the other, he was like, did you just get hit by a car? What just happened? This is pretty gay, but you ever journal?
That's amazing. That is so funny. Wow, I love that. I don't love that you got robbed, but I love that.
If I get a bit out of it.
Yeah. Which you might.
To get a bit that is like a staple in your set, that is worth a $60 chain.
I agree.
Absolutely. I would, if I could
easily
just like go to the store and pay $60 and get a bit that would be in my set.
Oh my God.
I'd be broke. I'd be like absolutely broke.
Who needs stuff when you can buy bits?
Yeah. And if you buy enough bits, you make money doing bits. Put it in crypto.
Okay. We got a crypto scheme going. Do you do crypto?
No.
Coming from San Francisco?
I did notice I'm one of the few, I lived in San Francisco and never did tech, so I feel like an outlier.
Yeah.
Around the corner, there's like a incredibly detailed mural of Lionel Messi just holding Bitcoins. I'm like, I feel like he probably didn't consent to his likeness being used like that.
It's so weird. I think it's like a Bitcoin bank.
That's
or like
so
ATM
funny,
or
dude.
something.
I
don't know.
just picture being in like Los Angeles and you see Kobe Bryant dunking a Bitcoin.
Oh my God.
That's not a bad idea.
R.I.P. He died, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he was the greatest guy.
Was he not a good guy?
Oh, well.
Let's get into it. I don't know.
Oh, he's got he had a court case that he had to settle that was assaulty.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Sports guy.
Also, just as a basketball nerd, I fucking hated watching Kobe play.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your basketball team?
Well, it was the Warriors, but then we got all like 1%y.
Yeah.
Where like the Warriors were in Oakland, and we were like a terrible fucking team usually.
Nice.
But Oracle, you could get like fucking $5 nosebleed seats and smoke weed in the arena, and nobody cared. And then as soon as like the Warriors got good, they moved them to San Francisco. They just bought all the best players.
Yeah, wasn't Steph Curry on the Warriors?
Well, he still is, and I love Steph Curry, but like
he's cool.
Like they just added like the best player in the league after they already broke the record for most wins in a season, and it just became like, oh, we're like the silver spoon team now. And it was reflecting what was going on in the city of like, okay, we're just gonna drain Oakland of anything good and put it in San Francisco. Anyway, this is pretty niche for a Barcelona comedy club podcast.
Yeah, it's okay. I think what people appreciate from the listeners. It's just getting to know the comedians who come through on a different
Also,
level.
the better the Warriors did, the less tickets we would sell to comedy shows. So at a certain point, it was like, I love Steph Curry, but fucking please lose this round.
Yeah, just please be shit so that people start coming to shows.
Like, I'm in London until, like, I might spend the rest of the year there. I'm not really sure what I'm doing.
London's fun.
London, especially the comedy scene. Like, the comics there are spoiled. They have no idea how good the scene is. They have no idea how good the scene is. I'm probably staying there through the end of the year. But, like, England's, like, one of the favorites to win the Euros. And I'm like, just fucking... First off, as a person of Egyptian heritage raised in America, I have 2 reasons to hate the English, right? So just on that level, I want them to lose, right? But on top of that, it's like, I want to sell some tickets, so if you could please get eliminated, if you could just get, like, not even make it past the group stage, that'd be really cool.
That would be so great.
Yeah, it's hard.
That'd be hilarious. There would be so many angry British men. That would be the funniest shit.
I wish I could. I've also heard that, like, when they lost they got to the finals of the Euros last time. And, like, I don't know if it was 2022. I can't remember. I
think it was. Are the Euros every 4 years? Or
I thought it was every 2 years. I might be wrong. I have no idea.
It could have been 2022 because England did really well in something 2 years ago.
They got to the final with Italy.
Yeah. I was here for that.
And I heard that the morning after, like, my English friend was like, "Oh, it was a disgrace." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You just saw people walking in the streets yelling to themselves, like knocking over garbage cans." And, like, I kind of
sounds like when Trump got elected.
I kind of want to watch that because also, like, it sucks being. I love international soccer, but it sucks having any awareness of colonialism and history.
Oh yeah.
Because try picking a side to root for in the Euros. It's tough,
hard,
bro.
It's hard.
It's like, okay, not gonna root for English for the previously mentioned reasons. France is, like, almost fucking worse.
Yeah.
Because at least English people are kind of nice.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And also, did you know, like, France is still extracting, like, almost $1 trillion from their former colonies in West Africa every year?
That doesn't surprise me.
It's fucking...
France is really, like, a fuck country.
So fuck France,
also the only
right?
country where incest is legal.
Oh.
Someone did a bit about it, and I saw it. I didn't research that, just for the record.
I had, like, 5 jokes pop in my head. I'm not going to do any of them.
do them.
Nope, I refuse.
That's fair enough.
I was like, okay, maybe I'll root for Spain, and then I get robbed 2 days ago. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, Spain did the whole Latin America thing.
Yeah, also a colonizer. I mean, every European country is.
And it's like,
pretty much
okay,
a
do you go for,
colonizer.
like, the Scandinavian states or, like, countries? I mean, like,
yeah, that just, like, have money and are just happy.
Yeah,
then, like,
and it's like okay, definitely not rooting for the Netherlands because of the whole slave trade.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you could pick something like Sweden, right? But it's like.
But
who
Sweden,
wants to root for a bunch of tall white people? Like, that's not fun either.
And then, like, I loved Lisbon, and I'm like, Portugal did a bunch of awful shit too. But
but they're still...
It's a bit further in the past.
It's further in the past, and they're still, like, they're like, kind of suffering. Like, their economy is shit.
Now Portugal's just minding its own business now.
Portugal's like, we got our own shit to do.
Spain joined the ICC and, like, prosecuting Israel, so I'm like, okay, Spain, and then the chain gets snatched.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, Scotland. All right, Scotland. It would be hilarious if they beat their neighbors.
That would be hilarious.
That, like, invaded them and stuff like that. And then I was replaying this video game called, Red Dead Redemption.
Of course.
And I learned from the game that the Scottish had a huge hand in the American slave trade. I'm like, come on, somebody, please.
Nobody's perfect.
I know nobody's perfect.
You know what?
Can somebody be not cartoonishly evil?
Yeah, I know, because you're like Italy, and then you're like Mussolini.
Or just, right now.
Yeah, that too. They're pretty far right now.
Greece, famously, if you're a black tourist, not a great place to go.
Nope.
So Turkey, but then they've got the Kurds.
Yeah, no. Turkey's not good. Turkey is not good.
And, like, the whole Ottoman thing.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I'll tell you. So my team, we're doing, like, a Euros, like, pool, right? So I got, it was just a random assignment. I got Belgium, which I don't think is that bad.
Yeah.
Did they do anything?
I'm going to Google Belgian.
What did Belgium do? I mean, they were kind of part of, like, Germany, right? I actually, no, I think...
I like
I
that.
think
Well,
they
obviously, we didn't
actually-
even bring up Germany as an option.
Oh,
to root
yeah. I
for.
mean, no one's rooting for Germany for any reason ever.
Man, they fucked up the Congo, Belgium.
Oh, come on, Belgium. Do better. I have Belgium and I have Georgia.
Okay. Is Georgia... Okay, I'm gonna look... I'm just gonna... Here's the thing.
I have
I'm
a
gonna
feeling.
Google... I'm gonna Google something. I don't... you're a product of the American education system.
Yes.
There's no... We have no awareness of Georgian history.
No.
I'm just
zero.
gonna randomly Google Georgia genocide and see if anything pops
Just see
up.
if anything comes up. Yeah. Georgia, I really didn't want Georgia as a team because it just reminds me of American Georgia.
Oh, they were the target of a genocide.
Oh, that makes sense.
What?
No, because they're like Eastern Europe, you know?
Okay.
Like Eastern Europe was like, I have a lot of Eastern European friends who are like, we're like the Latinos of Europe.
Oh, I think they did an ethnic cleansing of the Roma population.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Okay.
And I mean, basically all of these countries, I'm Jewish, all of these countries have kicked out the Jews. So I'm like, well, I don't know.
I root for Liverpool in the English league just because I'm Egyptian and Mo Salah plays for Liverpool.
Cool.
And one of Liverpool's best players, I keep forgetting it's a brand, not a family.
Nice.
Plays for Hungary, and I ran it by. I was like, oh, maybe I root for Hungary, and he went, do you know what Hungary? And I was like, I don't. Don't even tell me. I don't even fucking want to know.
Nah, I like Hungary though. Like
Have you been?
overall, yeah. Have you been?
No, but I dated a Ukrainian girl for a while, and I loved asking her about like regional beefs.
Cool.
Because like I'll ask my Egyptian parents
Yeah.
of like what do you think of Moroccans? Like,
Yeah.
What do you think? Because it's fun to hear what the local prejudices
Oh yeah,
are.
it's like when my grandparents talk about people from like they live in New Jersey. They'll be like, oh yeah, but like I don't know, the people from Long Island, you know.
So I was asking her like, oh, what do you think about Croatia? And she's like, oh, it's a beautiful country, like the scenery's blah blah blah.
And the people.
Well, she didn't address that. And then it's like, oh, what do you think of Slovenians? What do you think of blah, blah, blah? And then I was like, what do you think of Hungary? And she just looks at me and goes, nobody thinks of Hungary. Yeah. So yeah.
I don't.
No, I just like the way she
Nobody.
looked at me like, you dumbass.
It's so funny. That is amazing.
Nobody thinks about Hungary.
That is so funny. I love. I've been to Budapest like 3 or 4 times, or
Oh, yeah?
5 times. I don't know.
I heard it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
They
What's
didn't
your favorite
have,
European city just to visit?
outside of Barcelona? Probably Budapest.
Okay, I guess the's a reason you picked Barcelona.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the best.
Have you been embraced by the locals, or is it a little okay?
Yeah, I mean, I come here a lot, and like I work from home. I like don't. A lot of my friends are not locals.
Oh, so you got your own little pocket.
I got my own, yeah. There's a big expat community here, which expat is also a controversial term, but
Yeah, because we don't like calling ourselves immigrants.
yeah. It's like white people expats, and then, or like people from America, I guess, expats, right?
Expatriate.
Yeah.
So dramatic.
I'm like George Orwell.
So dramatic.
Yeah.
Expatriate.
Fucking F. Scott Fitzgerald over here. So yeah,
I wish Ireland qualified for the Euros.
how did they not?
They're not
They were
good.
just that
They're
bad?
just not good. Yeah.
Ireland's fun.
Yeah, I just went to Dublin. I opened for Bassem Youssef in Dublin.
So
and it was
cool.
my first time out there.
How
and
was it?
It was amazing. It was
Yeah?
excellent. That said, I knew it was a small country. I didn't realize how small. There was like one day of driving where I swear I saw like 40% of the country.
Yeah. Did you
And-
go across?
Yeah. And it's funny too because like, you know, there's a lot of American privilege, but there's this European privilege of everything's close together and easy to get to. So like I talk about like English comics aren't grateful for how good their scene is.
No.
And it's like, oh, I don't really like doing that gig in the North. It only pays like a couple $100 and you have to take a 2-hour train. I was like, give me the gig.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Because also it's like, you don't understand, bro. This country is like a borough in New York.
Yeah. Legitimately.
Yeah, I have to
like
drive
a 2-hour
6
train.
hours. I have to drive 6.5 hours from San Francisco to LA.
Exactly.
And I'm in the same state the whole fucking time.
Exactly. I mean, a 2-hour train in New York is like you could just live in New York. Like
Yeah.
I could live in Brooklyn and have a gig in Queens, and that's gonna take me 2 hours to get to
You think you're gonna stay here long?
Yeah, I like it here. It's good.
No plan on a.
I don't think so. I might do like an apartment swap with a friend or something for a month or two in New York because I got some decent gigs last time I went. But
what are your feelings about New York at the moment? Because I might be moving to Brooklyn in like January.
I think it's probably a better scene than California.
Scene. No, forget the scene.
Oh, just
forget
like as a
city. Yeah.
It's really gentrified.
But
like,
everywhere's gentrified.
Everywhere's gentrified. It's just like, it's so I went to college in New York.
If you have a city worth a shit, it's gentrified.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that.
Like even Barcelona.
I'm not saying that gentrified makes it good. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if you have a city that's worth living in, people from all over are going to come.
Are going to live there. And then, prices raise. So, like, Williamsburg is, like, more expensive than some areas of Manhattan now. Like
that's crazy.
Which is insane. Yeah. And it's, like, so my cousin... it's literally just Whole Foods. Like, it's all chains now. It's just not... It used to be really cute, and now it's, like, ugh.
I might move in with a friend in Bed-Stuy.
Oh, Bed-Stuy's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a while, but it's, like, kind of... I don't think people really go there.
I'm dating someone who got priced out of Brooklyn. Oh, thank you.
I'm dating someone.
They got priced out of... Their family got priced out of New York, and, like, they had to move to Pennsylvania.
That's crazy.
And then they chose... San Francisco.
Nice.
Like, it's expensive as shit here, too.
Wait, so you're dating someone.
Yeah.
Are they traveling with you?
No. We're long distance right now.
Oh, my God. That's hard.
Yeah. I will say, how old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay, so I'm 29.
Okay.
I did a long distance thing, but in your early 20s, like, love is so dramatic.
It's so dramatic.
It's so high stakes.
Yeah.
And it's like life or death, fatal, blah, blah, blah. And when I was long distance, it was like unbearable. Mm-hmm. But now that I'm like, getting a little older, I'm like I remember, like, we're going to see each other in September.
Cute.
And I remember in the past, that would have felt like forever.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, that feels like next weekend to me now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's like you're living your lives and you talk you talk on the phone, I'm sure. And, it's just kind of like, okay, and then we'll fuck in September, like the whole month. It'll be great. And then I'm good for the rest of the year,
I was talking to my friend, a very funny comedian named J.F. Harris, who does a lot of European travel, like, comedy gigs.
His name sounds familiar.
You've probably, he told me about this club. Like,
cool.
You've probably met him before.
It's possible.
I asked him for like some like long distance advice. He's like, oh, dude, it's especially when you get older, Caesar, you just keep in touch on the phone and when you see each other, fuck her whether it's her period or not. You
can't care. You cannot care about that.
It's like,
oh my God,
you lose that luxury of waiting it out.
Well, that's the worst because I'm like not good at keeping up a roster. Like, I'm a very single person and I have I'm not a roster person. Like, I just have people that I bounce. Yeah.
Yeah, I barely have enough bandwidth for my fucking
Exactly.
self. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't really get, I'm kind of seeing someone who's polyamorous-ish. That's not how he describes it. But he's like, well, I have a friend with benefit and I have a few things that I'm keeping up. And I'm like, okay, I don't have time for that.
I dated a girl who had a spreadsheet.
Oh my God.
Like before we were together, they talked about not really being into, not having had a relationship for a while, but she was like, oh yeah, but I saw a couple guys, and she had a spreadsheet of the last time she saw them. But she said
so I could not.
She was autistic. She was autistic,
okay.
Which does give her a bit.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Also, I'm like, don't worry, I'm not gonna do the bit, but I'm working on I feel like you have to do that with comics when you I hate it when comics
do bits on you
for
it's the worst. Yeah. It's the worst.
But I have a premise that I think is worth something, which is if you ever really want an honest opinion, get dumped by an autistic person. They're not gonna let you down easy.
Exactly.
We had a really rough week in New York together. And when she broke up with me, she was just like, yeah, when I met, I just thought you were this cool, confident man about town, and well, I was like, Jesus, oh my God.
And
how do you really feel? Oh my fucking God.
No, but I would appreciate that because I fucking hate when dudes are just like, you're perfect, but I don't feel it.
Oh,
and I'm like,
I do a middle ground.
Yeah.
I maybe if I have something really intense I dislike about the person, maybe I'll pocket that. But I'll just be like, oh, I don't think, like I point to some instances, like I just think that like I need someone who can do this for me, like where I'm comfortable with it. Like I give it a bit more honest, because I've had girls try and let me down easy, and it's like this kind gaslighting where it's like, okay, if you don't give me enough context, all I'm gonna do is speculate and spiral over it.
And be like,
but
what's
if you give me a little bit,
me?
if you give me a little bit, we can go our separate ways like peacefully.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But then, you know, the autistic girl took it like real.
I kind of love that. I'm like, I need to date someone autistic now. Although I really hope...
There were some perks too. I will say, hilarious.
I bet.
Hilarious. So funny.
Yeah. Some autistic people are honestly the funniest people.
But I did meet this autistic comedian, and I could tell we had a mutual friend. She loved the guy. And autistic people aren't equipped with all the social tools that you and I have, right? Where we can mask contempt.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you and I hang out with people.
We could hate each other right now, and you guys would never know.
I'm sure both you and I hang out with people that we'd really rather fucking not.
Sure.
But you can hide it.
Yeah.
And she could not hide it. Like, we were going for a walk.
Honestly, admirable.
And we had to, like, stop in an alleyway because she was a bit overstimulated. We were, like, you know, in central London, and it was, like, packed. And I'm trying to be kind, and I'm like, oh, is it all the people, or is it like the noise of the buses and stuff? And she goes, honestly, it's mostly you. And I was like, oh, okay.
Cool. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna go home. Because like I didn't take it super personally, because again, you and I hang out with people we don't like all the time. And I feel bad for her genuinely that she can't keep her cards close to her chest in that regard. That said, I don't gotta stick around for it.
No.
You know what I mean?
I mean, and it's like if you're only having a mediocre time and you're like, well, it's not really worth it.
And I remember we went to like a park, and it was funny, they were filming squirrels, because I guess squirrels are I guess squirrels are like less common there, but there are foxes everywhere, which is like
I saw a fox the other day, and I was walking and I freaked out.
No wonder they're so like Christian. I would believe in the devil too if I just lived with foxes. But like, they're filming a squirrel.
That's so weird.
And I'm talking to our mutual friend, and she goes to me because I'm like making noise in her video. But then she continues talking to the other guy, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm overstimulating. She also gave me. She said, I think she can tell she fucked up because she like sent me a bunch of like booker contact info that night. I'm like, oh, this is how you're
making up for it.
It's sweet, honestly. It was sweet.
That is sweet, because it's also
because I actually accept that. Like, you recognize that, again, you don't have the social tools to not be a kind of a dick sometimes, and you recognize it, and the fact that you're trying to make any amends already makes you like an above average person to me. But she was like giving me a little shit for like my Americanness, and I'm like, you're from a genocidal prison colony. The only difference between Australia and America is America makes something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Anyway, sorry, Australians.
Yeah. Australia to me is just the most hilarious country, because I've never been either, but I just think the people from there are like so funny, because it's like you came from like, you were just like London criminals, and then you just all spawned babies and then like took over the indigenous people. Like,
I think they just ruled that a big portion of the indigenous population can't vote.
Yeah. Did they? Wait, they just ruled that?
Like within the last like 6 months, I want to say.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
They
that.
should have done the whole indigenous population.
Should have just fucked all of them, you know? Okay, wait. So we didn't really talk about comedy. How did you get into comedy?
My dad was a comedy nerd, and he took me to see Bill Cosby. When I was like 5 years old.
Your hero.
And ever since, I'm surprised by how many comedians, really good comedians, didn't grow up as comedy fans. But I was I was a comedy nerd since I was like 5.
Wow.
And it's like all I ever wanted to do. To the point where like I wouldn't get so upset with myself when I didn't like do well in a class or something, because I'm like, I'm just gonna be a comedian anyway.
Wow.
And then I did it a couple times in high school, and I did it a couple times in like early college.
Where did you do, like in high school, like where did you do comedy?
Oh, first time it was just open mics.
Okay. But like you were like a teen and it was all
I was 17.
Okay.
Yeah. And I realized very quickly, like, oh, fuck, I don't have anything interesting to say because I'm 17. And I kind of like, I transferred schools, and the thing is like, one of the ways I would like get the courage to go do it was like a lot of my friends would come out with me, and they'd be very supportive because I was like the funny friend in the group or whatever.
That's so cute.
But then I transferred schools to University of San Francisco, and I was like, so like kindergarten through high school, pretty tough for me socially. I grew up in the South Bay area, so it was like, I didn't grow up around black people or white people. It was like 93% Asian, all engineer babies.
Okay, yeah.
Very spectrum-y. And like also like one of the most racist places I've ever been.
Really?
Fucking Cupertino, California.
No way.
Yeah. Like still, and I went to college in the South for a while, so it's like the most racist place I've been is probably the like South Bay at certain times.
Wow.
Oh fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh, so like, but then I went to college. Okay, I didn't go to school in the South. It was Missouri, which is borderline.
Yeah, but that's like the South. That's like Midwest South.
It's Midwest with Southern culture.
Yeah, it's like the same shit.
Yeah,
honestly.
but geographically, it's the Midwest.
Yeah.
Because it's like right under like Illinois and Indiana and shit.
Yeah, but it's like South vibes.
Yeah, for sure. Because you get to Missouri at a certain point.
Missouri. Yeah.
But I was like, socially, I did great there. So I was like, oh, I'll just go to USF and I'll fucking pop off again and make some friends.
Nice.
But it turns out that it's a commuter school. Oh. So I'd be like, hey, we getting drinks? And they're like, I have to go to home to San Mateo or whatever the fuck. So I like lost all courage for like, and I was also like in this weed coma for like years. And I didn't have the balls to like do it again until I was like 23.
Wow.
So like for like 3 years, every weekend I told myself I was going to do an open mic, and I didn't, and I considered
that must have been so like emotionally
draining. Yeah,
draining.
because like every weekend I was a failure.
Yeah.
And I was having trouble making friends on top of that.
Yeah.
And then I
Weed
studied.
is so great for all of that, because you're like, you know what,
Makes you
I fucked up, but you know what, I'm high.
Exactly, like to an insidious degree.
Yeah.
And then I got fired from my PR job at Pokemon.
Oh, fun.
And I was.
That's kind of cool that you did PR.
It was for a video game PR agency, and our main client was Pokemon, and that's like all I worked on.
Yeah.
But they made sure to fire me right before Christmas, so I didn't get a bonus.
That sucks. I'm so sorry.
Oh, whatever, bro. It's so far in the past.
So whatever.
My boss's
You're a comedian now.
My boss's last name was Wageman. It was like getting fired by Bill Salary Man. And
sounds like a Monopoly character.
I was just like, okay, if I'm gonna give stand-up a shot, now's the time.
Yeah.
And I did it, and it stuck. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because like I did it. It was nerve-wracking. I would only have the balls to do it like every 2 or 3 weeks. It would like ruin my whole day just waiting for this open mic set. I'd get so nervous. But then I had a miraculous night where I had a bomb, like I had a bomb that was as bad as you can imagine. Like everybody's stereotype nightmare of what a terrible set is.
Right.
That's what I had.
Yes.
And I was like gonna go home, and like this other open micer was like, no man, come on, there's another open mic down the street, there's more people there, let's go. And I was like, oh, I can't do 2 in a day. It's like, no, come on. And I went and I did that one, and I had like an incredible set.
Yeah.
And I saw like, oh, not only when you bomb does nobody shoot you in the head afterwards.
Right.
But also
because you
like,
need to bomb to get better.
but like, oh, also you can flip it in an hour. Like you can get the exact opposite reaction in an hour, and then all of a sudden bombing stopped being scary, and then I just got addicted to it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, comedy, almost everyone who's come on here, we talk about how comedy is like a different type of addiction, or like it is like there's an addictive property to it.
Because like the human, it's like the same way our brain didn't evolve for the constant dopamine rush of like TikTok and stuff like that. Being in front of a huge crowd that cheers for you should be a once in a lifetime event for most people. And when you're doing that, like sometimes you do that like 5 nights in a week.
Yep.
Like the adrenaline and the dopamine that's going, you weren't really meant to handle that often, which is why I think so many comics have like bad habits, because like you're trying to keep the high going essentially. I'm lucky that my vices are pretty benign.
Yeah,
it's like
weed is
I'll
like...
smoke some weed or I'll eat some. I'll have too much sugar.
That's literally me.
Thank God
way.
I'm not like an alcoholic or like I'm not into uppers or anything like that.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I love uppers, but I stay away.
But I've I something that's helped. I mentioned the last thing my friend heard before I got mugged was like, this is gay, but do you ever journal? And I found that's helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, I don't know. Do you have ADHD?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't been officially diagnosed.
I
but
think most performers have it.
Yeah, I do too, and especially comedians.
A good way to get the thoughts racing out of your head is to just put it on a piece of paper, and at the same time, like, you might not be coming up with anything funny, but you're like also, you're like grounding yourself. You're also getting better at finding your voice at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you can go about your day without fucking.
So you do like a morning pages?
Yeah, I do. I do. Which again, super homo. I'm just kidding.
Super I kiss men.
Yeah.
All right.
Gayer than having anal sex with a man. I've used that phrase once before, and it's because
so funny.
Egypt, unfortunately, like I think a lot of countries in the region has some homophobia problems. Every country has homophobia problems.
Every country has homophobia, but
it's a bit more taboo to be homophobic in like the States or Europe now than it, or like parts of Europe, I should say. But like the dudes there, like if you're homies, you'll walk down the street hooking arms or even holding pinkies.
Stop.
And I'm like, that holding pinkies with another man, gayer than having anal sex with a dude.
It is.
Absolutely.
100%.
Empirically gayer.
If I saw two men holding pinkies, I'd be like, they're together for life. That is, they're getting buried together.
I'd be like, get a room.
Honestly, boys. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't believe they hold pinkies.
Yeah, and they'll have like gelled back hair and like a soccer jersey, and I'm like, you have no idea how gay you look.
That is
like the gall for you to be a
like,
homophobe on top of that.
Well, we all know that like most of the people who are homophobic have like some sort of internalized like self.
Yeah.
Have had a.
Yeah, your
let's
best.
be honest.
You kind of liked your best friend in the fourth grade a little too much, or something.
Yeah,
and you can't handle
honestly,
that. Yeah.
like almost everybody has been like, "What's it like to?" Like, I wonder what it's like to fuck the same sex or the opposite sex or something that
Have you partaken?
Yeah.
You fan? Or was it just experimenting?
A little both.
Okay.
Yeah, I've kind of gone on the record saying that I'm bi in like a sexuality way, but not sort of like in a romantic way. And then I hadn't had an experience until I went to the States recently. I had like a threesome.
I've had multiple exes where like they could only have a sexual relationship with the same sex.
Yeah.
But when it came to a relationship, they wanted the opposite.
I don't know what it is with women. I think women are just hot. Like, I think that's part of it. It's like, we're just hot.
Oh, so you objectify them?
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm Mediterranean, so I talk with my hands. I sit cross-legged like this often. So if you type my name into Google, one of the top suggestions will be Murahd Shawki gay. And it's like, no, I'm fucking Arab, dude. I'm Arab, and I smile, and I express joy.
Yeah, and
that reads as gay in the States.
Yeah.
And for somebody who, like, dude, some of the dudes in my DMs, they were like fucking Greek gods, and I'm like, I wish I found you attractive, because I would be if I was even remotely into dudes, I would be banging tens after tens after tens.
I mean, I went to NYU, so I have a lot of gay friends, right? Like, I was a theater kid, so like I really like vibe with gay men. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes maybe I'm a gay man, because I'm also attracted to gay men a lot. So I'm like, but I'm so feminine that's not a thing. And but they fuck so much.
Yeah.
They fuck so
much. Maybe chill out a bit.
They fuck so
for your own physical health. Maybe just fucking pump.
I have a friend who's like, oh yeah, I just went to the clinic, got another shot in my butt for this STD of the week. Like, and I'm like, babes, I'm not judging because I'm a slut too, but like.
But take care of yourself.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm jealous. Sometimes I'm like, wow, you guys really just fuck whoever you want. Like, because men, I mean, I guess it's just you put together two like male like sex drives.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, as a dude, it's like I want nothing but like a one night stand, and then I get a one night stand, and I'm like, okay, well, do you want to get like breakfast? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, I don't like, it's like my hormones are telling me to do this, but then afterwards I'm just like, oh, why was I inside a stranger? That's not very hygienic. I don't know them well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if like
post-nut clarity.
Yeah, well, the post-nut clarity is like you know, when you're just like watching porn, you know, you forget that like, oh, these are another person's body fluids. That's kind of gross.
It's kind of gross. It is kind of gross.
And the grossness goes away when you have this like familiarity and a closer bond with a person. But when it's just a one-night stand, you're like, I hope that was a good idea. Like,
you're just like, I don't know what's in you. Like, you could have, I don't know. I don't do one-night stands. I don't like them. But yeah, I mean, you can be slutty and not do one-night stands. You know, you can fuck a lot and just fuck the same person. Or you can.
It's pretty gay.
It's pretty gay. Pretty gay. This is a great pod for Pride Month. Just also, I do want to clarify. I think obviously we love gay people. Well, not all of them, because gay people can be mean too.
Yeah.
I don't love all straight people. I only love people that I love.
That's been our episode.
Okay, so tell me, I need a little more comedy stuff. Okay, wait, so you have a writing process? How do you write your jokes?
I'm still figuring out the fucking process.
What's your process of
right now it's just a thought enters my head. If it makes me laugh immediately, I put it in my notes app and then I expand on it later. I heard on a podcast, so this is like third-hand information. Like Jim Gaffigan was quoting something Dave Chappelle told him.
Cool.
Which is like, find the circumstances in which you're most creative and do your best to just recreate those circumstances over and over. So for Jim Gaffigan, I think he said that he writes his best jokes when he's bored.
Nice.
So like he's rich enough to have an assistant go and run errands for him.
Right.
But he runs the errands himself because he hates doing it. And when he's bored waiting in line, that's like when the jokes pop up. And mine was always from like, if I'm talking to somebody that I enjoy talking to, that's when it comes. But like the problem is.
So have you thought of any jokes? I'm kidding.
The problem is, honestly, I did flesh out the autistic girl thing a bit. That makes my writing dependent, or my writing process inherently dependent on other people, which is inconvenient, especially when you're like a full-time comic and all your friends are busy with their 9 to 5, and then when they're free, you're at your job. So the journaling thing has been like a pretty fucking recent breakthrough.
Cool.
And it's kind of accomplishing a similar thing where it's like, oh, I'm kind of having a conversation with myself.
Yeah.
And similar stuff from that happens. And also like when you really like write about what you're thinking, you actually like finish coming to some conclusions that you wouldn't have otherwise. So you actually learn a lot about yourself when you're like journaling, and when that inherently hones your perspective and you realize what you really give a fuck about and what you really want to talk about. And this breakthrough for me fucking started in like May.
Cool.
Like early May. And right now it's like the most I've written since, like, when you like start comedy, it's easy to write a ton because you have this untapped well.
Right. You've just been thinking of stuff your whole life.
But once you're done with that first like 45 minutes or something, you're like, what the fuck else do I talk about? Yeah. And that's been like the struggle. Like, I'm fortunate enough to have a big audience. Yeah. But I got the big audience. This is a very nice problem to have. I got the big audience when I was 3.5 years into stand-up.
Nice. How was there like did something go viral?
It was my taping with Don't Tell. I had a joke about my racial ambiguity that got like, I think if you combine all the platforms and all the posts of it, it got like 40 million or something like that.
Congrats.
And I got recognized at a fucking tapas restaurant by a dude that could barely speak English. And he was like, you black or no black? And I'm like, oh shit. But I started doing some like co-headlining gigs where like me and like, you know, the guy I was on the phone with, Jordan Thulis, and like also I've done it with like Ryan Goodcase, who's fucking really blowing up right now. Where like, oh, we both like invite our audiences. You do a half hour, I do a half hour. And those were great shows, but I also knew I had some fans that were like, we kind of just wanted to, like, also like some of Ryan's fans were like, we just kind of wanted to see you. We just kind of like, and I did some like solo shows, and I kept people, laughing from front to back, which is what you want to
That's
do.
what you want.
But I had to do a lot of jokes I already posted, and a lot of my friends were like, don't worry, it's like you're a band. People want to hear the
people
hits.
want to hear the hits.
But also, like, I could tell some people were like disappointed.
Right.
So I'm like letting my followers are just bleeding. Like, I'm just like, because I'm not posting content much.
Right.
I'm just like losing. And I'm just trying to play the long game of like, all right, right now the current plan is like I have close to 40 minutes that I haven't posted.
Cool.
I don't think I need to do like a full hour special. Like I might like film like just a half hour.
I would do that.
So my goal is to get to like an hour of new material, film half of it so I can have the other half in a back pocket.
Right.
So when people come see me, they're getting a fresh show and I'm figuring out the next 15 to 30 while I'm doing it. But like playing the long game while you see your friends just killing it.
It's tough.
It's tough, bro.
It's tough.
Really tough. I'm trying to be patient about it.
It's hard.
The only headliner I've ever worked with like repeatedly is Kyle Kinane, who's like one of one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And he was like impressed with like what I managed, like the following I managed to put together. He was like very nice about, like, he seemed to enjoy my set and booked me multiple times.
Nice.
And I was just like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about touring, but like part of me wants to just kind of finish baking the cake. And then he and his opener, Sean Jordan, who's also hilarious, he just had a special come out, super funny. They both looked at the ceiling in relief and they were like, thank you. and I was like, what do you mean? He's like, there's a bunch of feature acts that are touring right now that could really, because like I see people that are touring and I know that they're doing all the same material that they posted already.
Right.
And it's like, I'm happy for you, but are people going to buy tickets the second time?
Right.
And
They're
I'm trying to get to that level.
Yeah, it's have you ever been to the Edinburgh Fringe?
No, I was originally planning on moving to London in September, but then I had a family friend who was like, "Oh, I'm going to be out of town for like April and May. Like, if you want to just use my place for free."
Nice.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm moving now.
Nice.
But as a result, I didn't really plan for this year's Fringe.
Right.
So
you should still go.
Well, I was actually thinking of staying in London because there's a massive talent exodus. So I'm like, I can just tell the local clubs like, hey, book me.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about like just doing scab work in London for like
you could totally do that. I would recommend
it too late to get into Fringe?
To do your hour, but I would say it's like worth going just to kind of like see, jump on a couple shows. Like you could go for a weekend because you're coming from London. Like take the train up, stay, crash with someone for a weekend, and then like just to kind of see like the vibe and see all the shows. But because the whole thing that they do in Edinburgh, like
I'm aware of like the process.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah, you know the
everybody's
process.
busking and doing hours every single fucking day.
Yeah, it's just the hour is like very different from the American hour. Like it's not like
it's like one man showy a little bit.
It's way more one man showy. It's like it's a show,
so
right?
fake comedy.
Yeah, it's fake comedy. It's just fucking storytelling and they're hacks.
You're twama. You have twama.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Yeah, there is a lot of that, and it's like I was trying to figure that out because I'm American, so I'm like joke, and especially New York is like a very one-liner place where it's like you have a joke, you have premise, joke, premise, right?
Yeah, real comedy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm the same way. It's fine. And it's been challenging to kind of figure out, okay, what's the through line? What's the beginning, middle, and end? What's the we'll get out of here soon.
Oh no. It's just like, sorry.
You have a lot of friends. I get it. It's fine.
I have 6 whole friends.
Oh my god, that's great. That's more than one hand.
Yeah, dude.
That is fucking crazy. So Edinburgh, it would just be. I think I'd be curious for you to see the
I need to
style.
do it once. I think I definitely need to do it. I just figure out.
And if you want to do it, I think the best way to do it is to go first, kind of see what it's like, get the vibe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, just go just for a few days, just to kind of see shows, see like the venues, and kind of get familiar with like the actual like. Because I did that. So 2 years ago, that's what I did, and then last year, I went for half a run, and then this time I'm going full run.
Cool. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. We'll see what happens. But okay, last 2 questions, and we're gonna keep them quick fire. So the one question I love asking everyone are like, who are your
it's
comedy?
Average size.
He's talking about his feet, everyone.
Yeah.
Obviously. Good. Congratulations. I don't know if you mean average size, including the Asian population, or including.
Oh, okay, damn, Jesus.
I'm kidding. I'm not a racist.
No. Go ahead. Anyway, the actual questions.
Yeah, actual questions. I might have to cut that. That was a little racist. But it was a joke. It was a joke. It's all in good fun. Okay. Who are your comedy, like your favorite comedians, whether they're like your comedy inspirations or just like locals that you want to shout out?
Oh, I always, when people ask me, it's like all time or like contemporary.
Either.
Because like
just
all
like,
time,
give me a
all
few.
time.
Bill Cosby.
I loved Chappelle's run from like his return to like Sticks and Stones.
Sure.
I feel like I differ from most comedians where like I'm not as about his early shit as a lot of people are.
Interesting, yeah.
And also his more recent stuff is like, can we move on to some other topics?
Yeah, can we
You're a smart
talk about trans people?
It's like forget even like the whole like offensive part of it. It's more like you're very smart and you're very good at comedy. I would love to hear your opinion on something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
it's
agree
getting
with that
monotonous
too.
a little bit.
That's what I don't even mean
he's like one of the best to ever do it. Who the fuck am I to talk about it? But it's also like, you don't want to talk about, like the media or like fucking fascism, or you don't want to talk about like, anyway. Bill Burr, a lot of like Louis C.K., a lot of standard answers.
Louis came here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Like to the Clubhouse.
But in terms of contemporary, famous local to Barcelona, Michelle Wolf is one of my absolute favorites.
The best.
I fucking love Rory Scovel.
Okay.
I aspire to just be fucking silly. There's so many comedians that are doing like these like really deep introspective sets, or they're doing like this like high-minded social commentary, and it's great and I love it, but we could use some more fucking silly.
I agree.
And that's why I love Rory Scovel. And he also has like, deeper bits sprinkled throughout there, but a lot of it is just like, my shirt looks weird. And I'm like, I love that.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, one of my favorite specials ever is called, it's Rory Scovel Tries Stand-Up for the First Time.
Cool.
Came out, it's a 2017 Netflix special. I highly recommend it.
Love it.
Really love Gerard Carmichael.
Yeah.
Oh, I should say in the all-time, Mike Birbiglia. Absolutely.
He did the Fringe
incredible.
last year.
He does one-man shows correctly.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's thematic and storytelling, but it's filled with joke-ass jokes.
And then callbacks.
Yeah,
and like, he's like one of the best writers I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. He's like telling you a story, but every 5 seconds there's a punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. Did you watch Old Man in the Pool?
Yeah, I saw it live.
That's what he did in the Fringe last year. So I was
the new one is my favorite. Like the one that's called the new one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
Oh, yeah. So good.
About his kid. I fucking love that one. Who else?
Or if you have like any like local people we haven't heard of that you're
I
don't even mean local to Barcelona. Just
like everybody fucking loves Mandel. He's this Atlanta comic that like is on the come up, but he's not like huge yet.
Love it.
And like almost every one of my peers, like their favorite is Mandel. He's fucking, I'm gonna butcher one of his jokes, I don't care. But he's like, I've been trying this new drug called vegetables. And he's like, I thought I had ADHD, I thought I had depression. Turns out I was just malnourished. I had a salad yesterday, now I can play Sudoku. I am sorry I butchered it, but I love that. I think about that joke every fucking day.
Amazing.
Ryan Goodcase is blowing up right now. Morgan J, I just opened for him.
Cool.
He's like one of the only crowd work comics that I'm not sick of.
Cool.
Because he's like doing his musical stuff with it, and
he's a musical crowd work?
Yeah, and he's great at it.
I gotta check him out.
And he's actually like a good composer of music.
Cool.
So like you're seeing a bunch of really great skills.
Right, he's
at
not
once.
just doing
It's not just like,
chords.
you guys a couple. Like he is doing that, but there are layers to it.
I gotta watch him.
I'm trying to think of like.
That's okay.
Love Jordan Thewlis. Again, I've worked with him. I My very good friend in New York who doesn't post any clips or anything,
Nice.
Ryan Sadakarin. He makes me laugh so fucking hard.
Love that. Check out Ryan, everyone. He doesn't post any clips, but check him out.
I'm trying to think who else.
That's great. That's good. You can always, I don't know. You can add more later in your heart. And okay, last question. What would your advice?
Oh, sorry. One more to the all-time list.
One more.
Maria Bamford. I fucking love Maria Bamford.
I love her.
Love Old Baby is one of my favorite specials.
She's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so brilliant. And, like, no one can be Maria. Like, she just is her. And it's like, she's the best. Yeah, okay. Great addition.
Yeah.
And yeah, last question. What would your advice be to new comics?
It's not an original piece of advice.
That's okay.
I've heard this same piece of advice be told to me by a bunch of different experienced comics, and they all phrase it differently, and you can tell they all came to that conclusion on their own. But like, there's a certain point where you are gonna get mechanically very polished at stand-up, and your performance is gonna be very good. You're gonna figure out joke structure really well, and the only way to like get better after that point really is to grow as a person. Like, it's about like refining a perspective and having a perspective that's worth listening to and an interesting one, and the way you get that perspective is by like engaging with life. Like I was talking to Kyle Kinane, and it's like, yeah, like, you just bet on yourself, and like, oh, you're running out of material, join a softball team. Like, do something. You know what I mean? Go have an experience worth commenting on. And I feel like one of my biggest learning hurdles for me was like, all I gave a fuck, like after like my taping came out, all I gave a fuck about was comedy and like dating. Yeah. And you could see it in my set. Like my set was just dating jokes and like not much else, and they were good dating jokes. Like, I was proud of the material, but like it's kind of like, imagine being a dancer and you can only do one style. Right. It's like, it gets fucking boring, and that's part of why I left the States, was because like I need something
fresh
new,
perspective,
and it's been working really well.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, okay, so leave the States, and
or just shake it up. That doesn't mean leave the States. Yeah, shake it up.
Shake it up. Yeah. Shake it up. All right, on that, we're going to call it come to the Spotlight, 8 p.m. tonight.
No, tomorrow. Saturday.
No, but tonight.
Oh, it's Saturday. Yes, Saturday.
This comes out on Saturday.
Cool.
Yeah. So 8 p.m. tonight. And I'm just going to throw in my quick plug. I'm doing my solo show June 30th at 10 p.m.
Nobody cares. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
It's true. No one cares.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm doing it tonight, so I'm just kind of bugging out about it. But
you're going to have a great time, I'm sure.
But yes, come to Spotlight tonight, 8 p.m. And Murahd is...
I'm on the late show tonight, or Friday.
Yeah, but this comes out Saturday.
I'm fucking this up. I apologize.
I think you're on... Are you also on the show after? 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. tomorrow?
Yes. I think that's
Saturday?
The drinking show.
Yeah, Drunk?
That's tomorrow.
Saturday.
Yes. Fuck! Okay.
We're confusing the listeners.
Yeah.
Come to Spotlight. Stay for Drink Drunk. Maybe
Saturday, 8 p.m.
On Saturday, 8 p.m. Drink Drunk is a super, super fun show. You're going to have a great time. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
That was great.
Lovely.
Oh, thank you. Sorry for the...
All good. I'm sorry I was just checking my phone because I was waiting to